Right, look at this. Ladies and gentlemen out there in the world, check me out. I'm in a 5-star hotel, baby. Look at this wonderful view. I wanted to give you this wonderful view behind me of this beautiful urban jewel. Ow, that hurt. And this beautiful rug just attacked my toenail. Yeah, look at this beautiful jewel of an urban, whatever you want to call it. So there you go. Enjoy this. What do we call it? Posh penthouse background. All right. So hopefully you won't be too distracted by the beautiful urban setting, and we can talk about mantras. Right? Hello, everybody. I see I got a bunch of people on Facebook. How about, I'm gonna make sure my YouTube is going. Yeah, it's going. All right. So yeah, you ready? Where we did last week we did. Oh wait, let me tell you why I'm in this 5-star hotel. Yeah. So I just got here. Right? I literally just got here. I got here just in time to check into the room, get into it, find out how to connect to the internet, plug in my stuff, and say hello to all of you. I even told my wife, hey, hang on a second, I have to do a YouTube live thing. So you guys got top priority. Yeah, so why am I over here in Chicago? I'm over here in Chicago. See, I had to come all the way from Japan, which started more than a day ago. So I've been traveling for like 30 hours or something. So forgive me. Hey, Jamie Raj, we're here. I'm here. I'm probably not going to be in good. Look at my shirt. I'm probably not going to be in good condition for any kind of activities today, but I might be hungry enough after this video to go out and get some chips or something. So yeah, this is the United Astrology Conference, which is pretty interesting. I don't know who's going to be here. Probably a lot of people. I know Kapil's here. Jamie, I'm going to see Jamie. And maybe we'll do a mosh party sometime. Oh, you're not going to come? All right, maybe I'll teach Kapil how to mosh. All right, yeah, so I'm thinking this is like an everybody's astrology conference. It's not just a Vedic astrology conference, so I think it'll be pretty interesting. And I'm going to do a lecture in a lunchtime slot on Sunday called the Sidereal and Tropical Systems in Vedic Astrology, which is going to be pretty interesting because it's good for this particular conference because you got people from West and East together. Yeah. So that's what's going to happen. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to also do a live broadcast of that. So that's in Chicago time. It's going to be on Sunday noon. So stick around for that. They say I can do whatever I want with videos and stuff like that. So I'll broadcast it again for all you lovely people. Right, you want to see these mantras now? You ready? Let me get them. Can't see my screen. So last week we talked about this mantra for the sun and the mantra for the moon. And now we're going to talk about the mantra for Mercury and the mantra for Venus. Okay. I'll try to watch over them. All right, here we go. This is the mantra for Mercury. We already talked last week about how you use mantras, what mantras are all about. Let's go right into it. Udbudhya. So there you go, right? You got Mercury's name right there in the beginning. Udbudhya. A little bit mixed up, a little bit not exactly clear, but it's pretty interesting, isn't it? Parashar found this particular mantra. Mercury's name in Sanskrit is Buddha. And this mantra starts with the word Buddha. Udbudhya. Udbudhya svāgna prati-jāgṛ. Tvaṁ iṣṭāpūrte saṁsṛjethāmayaṁ cha. Tvaṁ iṣṭāpūrte saṁsṛjethāmayaṁ cha. Let's think about how this one is supposed to be done. It looks like it's a shloka. Udbudhya svāgna prati-jāgṛ. It's 10. This is an unknown meter. unknown to me. Tvaṁ iṣṭāpūrte saṁsṛjethāmayaṁ cha asmin sadhasthe adhyuttarāsmin viśve devā yajamānaś sīdata. Okay, so remember what Prajha said. He said, if you got certain problems in your life or certain things that you want to improve, then figure out what planet that problem or subject is related to, and then try to understand that planet better by doing various things. And the most important thing is by contemplating a mantra related to that planet, a Vedic mantra. By contemplating this mantra, all of the issues related to Mercury will become more familiar, well-known, and internalized to you. So first of all, the first word in here, buddha, means the intellect. That's the name for Mercury. In Sanskrit means Mercury is called intellect, intelligence. So it's saying udbudhya, come on up, get up. Hey intellect, get up. Svāgna prati-jāgṛ, get up, become alert, and become active, become aware of everything, right? So this is one of the problems that you'll have with Mercury. Can I say this on YouTube Live? My mother-in-law, can I talk about my mother-in-law on YouTube Live? My mother-in-law has problems with Mercury because she never really pays attention to what's going on around her. So people are talking about things around her, doing things around her that she just doesn't notice. So that makes it very difficult for her because people get frustrated with her. Oh, don't you know don't you know what's going on? Stuff like that. So if you're in that same situation where you feel like you just don't quite perceive what's going on around you and people are saying and doing things and understanding things that are just going over your head and going past you and you miss, then you need to meditate on this mantra for Mercury. Because that's a very mercurial issue, is the perceptivity of the world around you. The paying attention to the perceptions. The actual perception is Venus, but the attention and the cognition and recognition of what you're perceiving is all Mercury, right? So this first line says, hey intellect, svāgna, prati-jāgṛ, wake up, get up, and become more aware of what's going on outside you. Tvaṁ iṣṭāpūrte. So ishta is a very important word for everybody, right? No matter how spiritual you think you are, everybody has an ishta. You may have a spiritual ishta. Ishta means the thing that you want, the thing that you really desire. Everybody's got some things that they desire, otherwise they wouldn't be living. So whatever your ishta is, pūrte, fulfill it. If you don't pay attention, this is the thing about Mercury, you would never think that Mercury would give you fulfillment of desires, right? You think that's something with Venus or something else. But Mercury's the intelligence. What does intelligence do? Intelligence is the faculty which allows us to figure out how to accomplish what our heart desires. In the internal self, according to Sankhya philosophy, the internal self has 2 or 3 distinct components. It's not just one big blob of an internal self. The internal self has a heart, which is the mind or manas, and then it has a mind, which is the buddhi or Mercury. The moon is the manas and the Mercury is the mind. What's the relationship between the two? The mind has feelings for things. It's the heart. It has feelings for things and desires for things. What does Mercury do? It helps the heart get what it wants. That's why it's not, in terms of planetary relationships, Mercury is not inimical to them. Or the moon likes Mercury. The moon needs Mercury. Okay. So if you're feeling like, I don't know how to achieve my objectives, it's probably because you're not paying careful enough attention to the world around you. I notice this all the time because I do a lot of teaching, whether it's astrology or English or whatever. I notice all the time that the student misses about 80% of the stuff because they're just thinking about something else while I'm saying something. So most of the reason why we don't understand how to accomplish our objectives is just because we're not calm enough and paying enough attention. So this awakening of the Mercury, the awakening of the buddhi that happens through this mantra is not some agitation or stimulation or caffeination. of intellect. You don't want to caffeinate your intellect. Caffeinated intellect never pays attention to anything. It just goes around, jumps around from one thing to the next. This is a clear, morning, calm, careful attentiveness that you want to wake up through this mantra in Mercury. Udbudhya svāgna prati-jāgṛ. Wake up the intellect so that it is clear. Then you will know, then you will be able to see everything around you and understand how to fulfill the desire. Asmin, then the third line. Asmin sadhasthe adhyuttarāsmin. There's a lot of asmins, right? And asmin means here. This. It's a localized pronoun. This or here. So Mercury is a very this planet. It connects this. It's not a far off K2 spiritual thingamajig. Mercury is about how you can interact with this world right here, right now. So in this mantra, then, there's a lot of asmins, which means here in this world. It's what wake up the intellect to look, and it says prati-jāgṛ. Wake up and look out, not look in, look out. So Mercury is very important for the what is it called? I/O. You know, in a computer you have an I/O bus, input output. Oh, people are asking me questions. I'm not even paying attention. Give me five minutes and I'll check the questions that you guys are asking. The I/O bus, the input output bus, is handled by Mercury, but it's really, the function is to internalize the external world, to figure out what's going on in the external world. So in order to better figure out the way that you should live in this world, in this life, here and now, you should try to improve your relationship with Mercury. This is why Mercury is a good planet for making money. And this is why Mercury gets involved in fine details, because it pays attention to the world. And it likes to get and give things from the world. So the third line says, asmin sadhasthe adhyuttarāsmin. Then this world, if we wake up about the Mercury more clearly, not only will we be able to fulfill our desires, but actually the world will become more clear. It's like sadhasthe adhyuttara. You will rise above the confusion. I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting used to wearing my glasses now. Imagine that. Right? So the problem is the heart and the intellect. The problem is not always that the intellect doesn't know how to fulfill the heart's desires. Sometimes the heart's desires are not healthy. Sometimes we desire stupid things. So how would you change that, though? How would you change what your heart desires? That's also something that's done through Mercury. And that's what this third line is about. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're having unhealthy desires, desiring things that aren't right, desiring things that aren't good for you, or that would not allow you to fulfill your responsibilities and things of that nature, then you also need to wake up your Mercury more. Your moon is too out of hand. If there's no Mercury, if the Mercury is not woken up, then the moon is too out of hand. So the third line is saying, when the intellect wakes up by the grace of Mercury, then you become more clear about the world. What happens when you become more clear about the world? You can see, like, oh yeah, I actually want this, and I want that, but I don't want this or that. So the goals will also become more clear, and then the ways to achieve the goals will become more clear. Okay? Viśve, devā, yajamānaś, sīdata. The last line. Illuminate everything with your divinity. This is why I call to you. So this is mantra is saying that hello Steve. This mantra is saying that I call to you, Mercury, Buddha, to illuminate everything with the devā. To illuminate the viśve with the devā. Viśve, devā, yajamānaś, sīdata. This yajamāna, this performer, this doer, this activator, this supplicant, calls to you, sīdata, to light up everything, light up the viśve. Light up everything with devā. Devā means deepa. Deepa means light, but it's the divine light, devā, the consciousness of cognition and perception. Right? So basically, all the problems that are rooted in not being alert enough and sensitive enough to notice the details of what's going on around you are all related to Mercury problems. This will also have to do with friendships, because Mercury is a planet that's very connected with friendships. This will also have to do with friendships, because the biggest problem also I always find in relationships, like I told you about students, most of the time the biggest problem with students, they only get 20% of what you're teaching, because they're thinking about something else while you're teaching one thing. And the other thing is with friendships and relationships, the biggest problem in friendships and relationships is that you're thinking about something else instead of the other person. You're not paying attention to what the other person is cluing you on, or cueing you on, or showing, communicating, telling you. So Mercury is also very important for relationships, but the key to all of why Mercury is important to relationships is because it gives us more awareness. When you're more aware and attentive to your partner, whether it be a friend or any kind of partner, then the relationship goes well. When you're more aware of the world around you, then you take also better care of your money, so your finances improve from Mercury. When you're more aware of the world around you, you understand things and comprehend how things fit together and work together, so the intellectual mechanisms also improve. So for any of those three things, really, friendship, relationship problems, money problems, or intellect problems, just trying to grasp things more clearly, then this mantra would be super useful. I think I'll just do this mantra one more time and then see what questions you have. Can you hear that? This is America. Or this is the big downtown city. But I always joke about America. Sometimes people get mad at me because they think I'm not patriotic. But you always hear sirens. All right, here's the mantra. Udbudhya. That's such a cool word, right? Udbudhya. Udbudhya svāgna prati-jāgṛ tvaṁ iṣṭāpūrte saṁsṛjethāmayaṁ asmin sadhasthe adhyuttarāsmin viśve devā yajamānaś sīdata. I know you guys want this to be put into the chat window, so that's what I'll do. But I can only do it on YouTube, because on my Facebook it's just on the phone. There it is. It's not well formatted. Oh, it's too long. So you might have to actually get it from me at some point. I'll give you the Sanskrit at least. All right. Let's see what questions you guys got. Not much, right? You want to know, somebody wants to know if you can find a book with this mantra in it. Nope. But if you go online, there's a site online called Sacred Texts. Let me find it right away. Sacred Texts. There's this whole site dedicated to sacred texts from all over the world. Sacred-texts.com. And then once you're there, you could search for various mantras. But they're not going to be able to hand it to you on a silver platter. You're going to have some ability to research or to know what you're looking for. So for example, this mantra is Shukla Yajurveda 1554. So if you look that up, you can find that online. But I just put it into the comments over there. Okay, any other questions? Let me see what else we got on this. Mercury and Gandanta. Oh, but guess what, Astro? Also, I'll do a book someday. It's on my list of things that I need to do when I figure out a way to have some time to do things. All right. Mercury, here's a question. Mercury and Gandanta well, I can't understand the question. So first of all, here's somebody asking me again about a Mercury nakshatra. This person, Harsh Patel, you don't know that I don't believe in planetary rulers of nakshatras, because either you were not paying attention when I said it 50,000 times, or you just started tuning into my YouTube channel. Either way, I'll forgive you once. Okay? Nakshatra planets are for assigning dashas, not for interpreting things. Maybe for interpreting chronological things. Okay? But basically, what your question abstracted is, an abstracted version of his question is, if Mercury is in a weird position, does that mean that the person's really intelligent or opposite? You have to figure it out. If Mercury, Gandanta is also not so easy to unravel and use independently. You're better off just saying, is Mercury prominent in the chart? These are the two things. Rather than chasing around your question, let me tell you how I do an interpretation of Mercury. First of all, you want to see, is Mercury prominent or not prominent? How prominent is it? Then you're going to see how important are the Mercury topics in this person's life. If the Mercury is less prominent, then it's less important. If Mercury is more prominent, then it's more important in their life. Then you want to see, is this Mercury dignified or undignified? Not just by a simple sign, but throughout all the amshas and also through aspects and conjunctions to it. So when you finally get your full calculation of the dignity, then you can say, all right, this Mercury is really prominent and bad. Like in my mother-in-law's chart. So, and if there's classic combinations of things that, you look for certain things. But anyway, this Mercury is very prominent in the chart and very negative in the chart. So it's a very big issue in this person's life that they're very insensitive, not really perceiving the world that's going on around them, and that's going to cause problems in their ability to be financially. One of the maybe not all of the things associated with Mercury are going to get killed, because there has to be. It depends on what other things in the chart support which ones. But it certainly opens up an avenue for there to be difficulties in cognizing things, understanding things, just your basic IQ, making money, or having friendly relationships. Priyanka has a question about Mercury. Does Mercury also deal with memory? Yeah, it does. Mercury has 3 functions. You can learn this in my Astrology 101 class. Mercury or Buddhi has 3 functions. One is to detect a pattern. The other is to match a pattern with the pattern that it already knows. And then the third is to store the patterns that it knows. That's how intellect works. It's pattern recognition. That's why Mercury is also very good with patterns. And that's why when they test your IQ, they test you on patterns. So yeah, Mercury has those 3 functions. It tries to recognize a pattern. Oh, I see. That's a circle. And then it tries to say, what kind of circle is this? What do I know about circles? This is like a yellow circle, and I've seen a yellow circle before. What was it? Somebody told me what it was. What was it? So it has a memory. It has a storage of previous symbols that it's understood. Oh, yes, the sun. So Mercury is the one who keeps the memory and keeps track of it. Though the memory is stored, the hard disk on which the memory is stored is something called chitta, which is a very deep layer of the mind, or the moon. So the moon also has to do with memory. But the input and output access to the memory that's stored in the chitta is through Mercury or the intellect. Here's another question. You don't have to say sorry. All right, good. So, a hamkar overload, Christopher Burns wants to know about a hamkar overload can be addressed here. No, hamkar is not really an issue of Mercury. Of course, all things are related. Ahamkar means big ego. Now, ahamkar is I am important. Ahamkara, I'm the guy, I'm the man. That's what ahamkara really means. I'm important, I'm the doer. I'm the mover, I'm the shaker. Other guys do what I want. So, Mercury is not so associated with ahamkara, but of course everything is related. So, you see, you need, just like if you're trying to pick a lock, not that I pick locks often, but this is the thing, the analogy that comes to mind. You get the first tumbler up, and then you got to get the second tumbler up without the first tumbler falling down. So, it's the same way in astrology. You may get something that indicates this person's got a really unhealthy ego. But so what? It's just one thing that represents that. You have to have something else that's going to support it. You have to get all the tumblers into place for a particular interpretation to be strong and true and undeniable. So, a ahankar issue will mostly have to do with sun. Primarily it's going to be focused on sun and maybe First Lord, whoever the First Lord may be. But Mercury can be one of those secondary tumblers in the lock that help the sun's problem become an ahankar issue, an ego issue, instead of something else. Like maybe instead of a reliability issue or something. Okay. Somebody's talking about my shirt. See, this is I've had this shirt for 20 years. I've had this shirt for 20 years. Actually, I have not had this exact shirt for 20 years, but I had a different copy of this same shirt 20 years ago. This one I think is about 10 years old. This is my favorite band, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want to know. Yeah, when I was a kid, I got this shirt. And then, when I was coming through the airport today, the American TSA agent who made sure I had the right bag at the end, he said, "Hey, look at that shirt. Bad brains, high against die. Look at this guy." This is another rare guy who knows what band this is. How cool is that? All right, friends, are you ready to look at Venus's mantra? Thanks, Nancy. Yeah, you should stop by. You can come to my lecture. It's free. The lunch lectures are free. It's on Sunday at 12 o'clock. It's at the Marriott something or other on the Miraculous Mile, or Marvelous Mile, whatever they call it. What is it? Michigan Street, Michigan and Grand. All right. I feel great, though, because I like talking to everybody. All right, let's do Venus's mantra is also very special. Mercury's mantra is kind of worldly. Worldly things are also important, no doubt. But it's not really my cup of tea. I don't get that excited about it. Venus's mantra is very spiritual and lovely. So let's take a look at that one. Remember, last week the moon's mantra was really moving. So Venus's mantra is very similar to the moon's mantra. That isn't that interesting in and of itself, since they're both the feminine planets. The two major feminine planets are Venus and Moon, and their mantras are very much on the same topic. And what is that topic? Happiness, pleasure, satisfaction, joy. So here Parashar has found another Shukla Yajurveda mantra. If you want to look this one up, it's 1975. Hey, Rebecca. No, I'm in Chicago. I'm just doing the talk here at this hotel on Sunday. You're in Boston, right? Rebecca remembers the old days when I would go around and talk at temples. All right, so here we go. Let's look at Venus. This is really great. So the first word is anat. Anat parisruto rasam brahmana vyapabit kshatram payah praja tena satyam indriyam vipanam shukram andhasa indriyam idam parisrutam madhu. See, these are a little bit long, but as I said last week, this is your bhakti. This is the meditation. The meditation is not just to say the mantra, but to make the effort to learn it. That's the more important part of the meditation. The more important part of the mantra seva is the effort to learn it and internalize it, not just to mouth it. And actually, the mouthing part of the mantra can be quite showy and self-aggrandizing, and you can tell your friends, "Hey, I did 11,000 blah blah blah." But really, the effort comes in how well you actually learn the mantra and know it. Okay, anat. So the main subject of this mantra is rasa. Rasa is the main subject of this mantra. Rasa is the main subject of your life. Everybody's life. Doesn't matter if you're Indra or Indra Gopta, if you're the king of heaven or the king of an anthill. Rasa is the main subject of everybody's life. That's what rasa is by definition, it's the thing which pulls everybody, inspires everybody, attracts everybody. It's a kind of a flavor. So it's explained as a flavor that is, or it's like associated with a juice or something that has taste in it, but it's not just a literal juice. Rasa is the thing that you find attractive in something else. Whatever it is, just the fact that it's attractive. Jen, I'm here. We're going to get together, right? But right now I'm just going to probably just conk out after this. Okay, so back to the subject here. The subject of Venus's mantra is rasa. Rasa is the thing that everybody wants. It's the attractive part. It's the ultimate purpose of life, right? So, what do you think is the ultimate purpose of life? You're probably going to go around guessing a bunch of different things unless you really understand what life is, first of all. You know, what is life? What gives life? Life is actually consciousness. Life is the ability to perceive and experience. Perceive, experience, and interact. Consciousness comes out and goes in also. So it comes out as interaction. So that's what life is. Life is consciousness. And what does consciousness want? Something to be conscious of. That's what rasa is. Rasa is the thing that attracts our attention, that attracts our interest. And it's why does it attract our interest? Because it's the thing that promises to give joy. Gives us a reason to exist. Rasa is the reason why consciousness manifests. Consciousness would be meaningless, purposeless without rasa. So what consciousness exists for is beauty. Consciousness is the perceiver, and the reason for it to exist is to perceive beauty. Rasa is the joy that's experienced in the perception of beauty, right? So this is Venus, therefore, is the most important planet. It's the most important planet because it's the subject that everybody is obsessed with. Just maybe the internet in the hotel might not be totally reliable. Yeah, I mean, Eddie, I can always count on Eddie to give a cheeky comment. So I like this one. He says it sounds like dopamine. But yeah, dopamine is a chemical. See, but rasa is not a chemical. Rasa is part of consciousness. If you live for dopamine, then you live for something that's external to you and that you need to purchase. But if you live for rasa, you're set. You're self-sufficient. Because consciousness contains rasa. Contains its objects and subjects. So don't equate it to a drug. But the drugs are exciting and interesting because they emulate. They emulate the experience of rasa. And the rasa expresses itself in the physical sense through all the various hormones and enzymes and chemicals and things that that go on in the nervous system. But don't make the mistake of thinking that rasa is in some kind of a chemical or rasa is in some kind of a object. Rasa is in the consciousness. This is the message of the verse, of the mantra. So he says, parisruto rasam. Parisruto means to ooze out, to flow out, to jump out, to flow out, not to jump out, to ooze out. So this rasa is oozing out, anat, from food. So we commonly think of rasa as being something that comes from an object, like food. Food has flavor. The flavor is oozing out of the food. That's what anat parisruto rasam means. But the fourth word on the line is brahmana. Brahmana means yes. It seems like there's rasa flowing out from drugs and food and sex and everything. But really, rasa is something which these things are stimulating. The food, the drugs, the sex, the beautiful colors, the sounds, the smells are stimulating the consciousness to taste the rasa. They're just stimulants of it. They don't contain the rasa. So that's why the last word on the line says brahmana. Brahmana means consciousness, spiritual. So it's saying, look, even the joy that you experience in food is just a reflection of the joy that's in you. It's just stimulating or evoking the joy that's in you. You can't get something external into you. All that the external things do is stimulate what's already inherent in you. Try to understand that one. That's a really important one to understand. Whatever thing it brings you super pleasure and joy, it's actually just evoking that joy from within you. So you're not actually dependent upon the thing if you know how to access spiritual rasa directly. Okay, so the first verse of this line, because if you have problems with Venus, you'll feel lonely, you'll feel sad, you'll feel that there's no happiness in life, because that's what Venus brings. Venus is the beauty, Venus is the femininity, Venus is the one that's giving you inspiration and happiness and joy to live. So if you got problems with Venus, you either can't manifest that for other people, or you can't have it for yourself, or both. Right? So the first thing that this mantra is saying is, hey, let's remember that you're full of this stuff. You're full of this rasa. It's part of you. You're Brahman, and this rasa is Brahman. That's why the fourth word of the line is Brahmana. Anad parisruto rasam Brahmana. The rasa, the joy in life that everybody's seeking is consciousness itself, and that's you. It's not coming out of food. You think it's coming out of food. It's coming out of you. It's not coming out of money or new shoes. It's coming out of you. Then it says vyapabit kshatram payah prajapati. So this one is saying prajapati is very, very important. Hi Heidi. I'll accept your spelling of my name, Nick. Prajapati is a very important god, right? It can be any of these gods, but it's Prajapati means the one who generates the others. So like Brahma. So the gods like Brahma, Daksha, other people can be called Prajapati. They payah this. They drink this. Why do they drink it? Why do they drink rasa? For kshatra. To be protected. Huh? To be protected. To be protected from what? How is it that pleasure protects you? This is Venus. How is it that joy and happiness protects you? Mars knows how to protect you with armor and weapons. Venus protects you with rasa. Venus protects you with joy and love. So what does she protect you from? Vyapabit, from defeat. What vyapabit means, so then you could see this in how Venus is described in the Puranas as the one who protects the fallen soldiers. That Venus is the one who knows how to revive fallen soldiers. But now, what vyapabit really means is not just defeat, but depression. Feeling down, feeling low. So that's the thing, that's the real enemy. If you get punched in the face, that's a painful situation. But if you get struck by depression, it's 1,000 times worse than being punched in the face. So what Venus really knows how to, because even you cease to lose your will to exist when you don't have rasa. If you get broken arm or something or stabbed, you might even die, but you don't lose your will to exist. You'll manifest in another body. But if you get struck by depression, you lose the will to even exist. So the worst danger in the world is vyapabit, or depression, or sadness. It kills the soul. And Venus is holding this juice, rasa, that protects us from that depression. And even the gods drink it. So the important thing to know here is that without rasa, life becomes vyapabit. Life is a defeat. There's no meaning to it. Without joy. Now, I bet you half of you are thinking, yeah, I need more joy in my life. But think carefully about Venus. Venus is not Mars. Venus is not going out searching for the fountain of youth. Venus is the fountain of youth. And think about everything that Venus represents. Venus represents love. So that is what gives you joy. So don't get stuck on thinking, oh, I'll never not be depressed because I'll never get the rasa. You're thinking that it's coming from anna. You're thinking that you need some anna, you need some material thing to get it, or some material situation to get it, or some external situation to get it. But the whole thing is saying, no, you don't even need anything external to get it. You have it. Express it. Give it to the gods. You can give it even to the gods. They want what you have. You have rasa in you. You have love in you. Everybody in the world wants it. But you have what everybody wants. So give it. Maybe because of all the various complications that we have in our life and all the various challenges and handicaps that we have, you have to find the right person who's able to accept the flawed version of it that we're able to give. Maybe it's just going to be a little pet parakeet. Or maybe it's going to be somebody wonderful, some human being or some god. But whoever it is, start giving love. If you want to experience rasa, you have to give it. It's not something that you get from external things. It's something that you generate by giving. Okay. And then tena satyam indriyam vipanam. This sacred drink, vipana, enables the senses, indriya, to experience the tena satya. This is also relevant to Chitra Nakshatra because these two words are used in Chitra Nakshatra Sutra. Rita and satya. Tena satyam indriyam vipanam. This sacred drink, the joy, enables the senses to really experience true existence. The true existence. Venus is the senses. Venus is all the senses because Venus is perception. So she's, she governs, or she's involved with all the senses and all the sense perception. Mercury is related because Mercury makes sense of the perceptions. But Mercury is the actual tools to perceive things. But Venus is the tools to perceive things. Mercury is the one that makes sense out of what's perceived. So she's the one who's going to interface with things that stimulate rasa. She's going to be able to create a cake. Venus can make a cake to give to somebody so they can taste the rasa. What are they tasting? Not flour and sugar. They're tasting love. Venus has put the love into the cake, and then the person takes it in through their senses and they experience it. So that's the truth. But most people don't see that. Most people just see a cake. And then they think, let me just go buy a cake from the store. Maybe I'll feel happy. I don't have anybody cook me a cake, but if I get a cake, I don't have any love. Let me watch porn. I don't have any love. Let me go to the bar and pay some bartender to pay attention to me. But that's not the way it really is. You're not seeing the truth through your senses. You're seeing some foggy thing through your senses. Venus will help you see the true sensual world. The true sensual world is not material stuff. The true sensual world is how love and rasa takes shape in token objects that can be transmitted to and from other people, like cakes or hugs, or putting on looking nice, taking care of how you look, because somebody else is going to look at you. So that's the truth of the so-called material world, is that there's no such thing. It's just people absorbed in this illusion of it that are in this material dream. But Venus will, if you can see through love, through the eyes of Venus, then you'll see the true world. What it really is, and how it's joyful at every moment. It's full of joy. The only pain is in that people are not connecting to it. Shukram andhasa. Shukram andhasa. Andhasa is blindness or darkness. Shukram, here's Venus's name. Right? So every mantra has the name. Shukram andasa indriyasyendriyam. If you don't get the shukra, so what is shukra? Shukra is a name for Venus. Shukra means the bright, sparkling. Hi, Sonia. Are you here in Chicago? Shukra means the bright, sparkling stuff. So it has to do with vital power. So this shukra is the thing that takes the indriya and takes the senses and makes them able to perceive the world truly, right? Like the previous line said, tena, satyam, indriyam, vipa shukram. This rasa is the shukra, or the glowing power that enables the senses, indriya, to really perceive the true reality, tena, satyam. But if you don't have this rasa, then you have andasa. Andasa means darkness, blindness, sadness, gloom. And that sadness and darkness and gloom covers over your senses. So, look at this. A lot of people have physical insensitivity, frigidity, and things like that. This mantra is a cure for that. Okay, this mantra will put you better in touch with shukra, which enables your senses to be more vital and have more perception. Not Mercury is similar with perception, but Mercury is in the understanding of the perception. Venus is in the actual tactile, sensual experience. So if your senses are darkened, like if you have bad eyesight, or if you're sexually frigid, if you have insensitivity in your hearing, taste, smell, it's a problem associated with Venus. You should be thinking about this mantra. You can invigorate your senses from the inside. Yeah, Shukra gives all those virya and power to the senses. And then the final line. Idam, I just got confused because my computer clock didn't switch to the new time zone yet. Idam payah madhu. So this is the conclusion of the mantra. The conclusion of the mantra is, drink this. Drink this honey. Drink this honey. It's very sweet. It's milk and honey. Shrutam madhu. Drink this honey milk of Venus's rasa, which is femininity, love, caring about other people, creating beauty, being beauty, to make joy, to spread joy. That is the rasa that you drink. Everybody thinks that the person who's looking at the beauty is the one who enjoys the beauty, but that's the biggest lie. That's the biggest, most unfortunate thing. Everybody thinks the person looking at the beauty is the real enjoyer of the beauty. Actually, the person who is the beauty enjoys the beauty more. So be the beauty, not the person trying to enjoy it. Be the lover, not the person trying to be loved. If you do it right, you'll get loved. You'll experience love. Of course, life is complicated. And we have a lot of other handicaps and mistakes. So these are big ideas that will help you and inspire you, but you got to look carefully on a case-by-case basis at specific details in practical world. You shouldn't intentionally try to love people who are incapable of receiving love. Okay, that's also very frustrating. So, yeah, idam payah shrutam madhu. So drink this. All right? I guess I'm a little tired. Let's see. Any questions? Finish up with some questions. Hey Jen, thanks. You listened to the whole thing. Let's see what these guys are saying over here. how do you access, 9 of vowels is how do you access this rasa that's in you? You access it by expressing it. Hi Heidi. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so you access the rasa of Venus by expressing it and giving it to others. Morpheus wants to know if Shukra is an asuric deity. Not that asuras are negative, but view reality through a different lens. You really, before you mess with, like you said, you're on the right track with. Before you mess with the word asura and sura, you really have to do a lot of work to try to figure out what it really means. Venus is a Brahmana planet. Okay. Venus is a Brahmana planet. So that means that primarily Venus is about knowledge. She's not a Kshatriya planet that fights. She's a Brahmana planet. She's about the knowledge of how to experience life the right way so that it's pleasant and that you create pleasure. You generate pleasure. You're not dependent on pleasure, but you're generating pleasure. That's the knowledge that Venus has. So she's Brahmana. She's not an asura, like somebody who's a fighter or a warrior. But Bali, one of the great asura kings, who incidentally is also a great saint, came to Shukra for help after Indra. I think it was after Indra got his hands on this rasa. Indra got his hands on this external rasa that would make his senses never tired, make him undefeatable. Bali went to the Brahmanas headed by Shukra and just started serving them, taking care of their needs. And then Shukra said, "You're the greatest king. This is what kings should do. What do you want?" And then he said, then Bali said, "Well, it's not fair anymore. Indra has this medicine, this drink that brings him back to life all the time. We can never attack them." And Shukra said, "Don't worry. You also have it. We also have it. It's just like this mantra, right? We also have it. I'll show you how to bring it out. I'll keep all of you guys alive with the same rasa." So see, you can see that whole story in the same way. That here's this guy, really rich king of heaven, who's got this rasa in his cup and he drinks it. And then the other guy, Bali, is thinking, "Oh no, I want that rasa in the cup too. Without that rasa, I can't live. I can't have inspiration to live and succeed." So he goes to the Brahmana, and the Brahmana tells him, "No." Brahmana means philosopher. "No, you have that rasa, that same rasa. What he has in a cup, you have in you. We already have it. I'll bring it out for you. I'll show you how it's already here. So I'll show you how you're already immortal and full of bliss." That's what the mantra is about. Atman Brahma wants to know if Venus is exalted in the Rashi but debilitated in the Vamsha, how bad is it? You have to be more systematic. Atman Brahman. You have to be more systematic in your astrological system. Just create a system or learn a system. How to evaluate, for example, learn the Vargavimshopaka dignity system. And then you'll see how to judge the whole thing overall. You're asking a question that's, whatever answer I give to you, it's not going to be a good answer because it's not the right way to look at the thing. How bad is it? If it's exalted in the Rashi, it's exalted in the Rashi. And then you have to consider how the rest of the Amsha's dignities affect that. Okay? The debilitation in the Navamsha is going to specifically affect something about the core of the person, the dharma of the person, how they really, what they can't change about themselves, what they always are. But don't think that just because Venus is debilitated that means that you have a bad time. When Venus gets debilitated, you get very, very humble about your perceptions and your love, and you're willing to love everybody. Venus can be very good even in a debilitated condition if the right other conditions are there. That's why I don't like specific questions too much, unless you're a student who's actually gone through level 1, level 2, at least, to understand the basic system of astrology. Because the specific questions mislead you into thinking that you're learning something, but you're not. You're just learning details and facts, and you're learning step 12 and step 13, but you didn't learn step 1 through 11. Venus. Priyanka wants to know what countries represent Venus. Ancient India is Venus. Thanks, Heidi. You can sign up on victikara.com. You can go to courses there. Saurabh wants to know, Shukra is one-eyed. What does that signify? You know, this from the same story. No, it's not from the same story. It's a little bit later on in the same story. Bali, then with that power that Shukra showed him, just routed Indra from heaven. And then Indra's mother, Aditi, requested Vishnu to help. Vishnu became her son, and then went to Bali, that demon king so-called, and then said, I just want some charity. He just came to him as a little kid, as a little beggar, like a little priest. And Bali was a big king, and he said, of course, whatever charity you want. And Shukra was standing next to Bali and said, no, this is a trick, this is a trick, this is a trick. That's Vishnu, the gods are going to take it back from you. And so Bali said, I don't care if it's a trick or not. Somebody comes to ask me for charity, I'll give it to them. And he was about to pour the water out of the pot to signify the acceptance of the promise. So Shukra became a fly and went into the pot to block the water so it couldn't come out. And then Bali took a straw and cleaned the pot, but by cleaning the pot he poked Shukra's eye. What does it signify? Not sure. Yes, some things, astrology and Puranic stories are a little bit different. Sometimes they overlap really well. Sometimes they don't always overlap really too well, because the 7 or 9 planet astrological system isn't incredibly indigenously Vedic. The very, very indigenously Vedic astrological system is the sun, moon cycles that make yugas and a little bit of Jupiter. That's the one that you'll find in the Vedanga Jyotish. So you're getting some bit of mixture. Some of the concepts of what the planet represents doesn't always represent every single bit of detail in every story about the planet. However, if you study Sankhya, Vedic Sankhya philosophy, and it's super useful for understanding the planets. And that's how I teach the 101. Paradise Bird says both. Sorry if I'm skipping. I just realized that I'm getting tired, so I'm probably going to skip, Nancy, again, like even if you can't come to my brain got tired. Even if you can't come to the conference, you can come to my lecture or any lunch lecture. It's free, as far as I know. All right. Both Jupiter and Venus are counselors and brahmanas, Paradise Bird asks. But one of them is a devā and the other is the asuras. What is the main difference? Or one of the devas and one of the asuras. What's the main difference between the knowledge they give? Venus can be amoral? No. But Venus, there's no difference. Don't try to do that with Venus and Jupiter. But the thing, actually, Venus is more generous. This is what you can take away from this. That's astrologically sound. Venus is more generous than Jupiter. Okay, if you read Paladipika, Mantreshwar says that Jupiter and Venus are the 2 very benefic planets, but Venus is even more benefic than Jupiter. And the reason is Venus is very generous. That's what this mantra is all about. How to experience true joy, you have to be able to give it. So Venus is all about giving joy. She just wants to give joy. She just wants to give people happiness. Hey, Paris is here too. So Venus just wants to give happiness, right? That's why she is, or he, whatever, is the guru for the asuras. She's not going to discriminate. No, you guys are asuras. I'm not going to teach you anything. Okay? Jupiter is a little bit more picky. When we do Jupiter's mantra next week, yeah, when we do Jupiter's mantra next week, you'll see how Jupiter is a little bit picky, that he requires a little bit of a prerequisite before he blesses you. But Venus is not like that. She doesn't require any prerequisites. She blesses anybody. And that's why one of them becomes the Asura Guru and the other becomes the Sura Guru. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed our live session on Mercury and Venus. Okay? And John V, don't think about luxurious countries too much. You're missing the point of Venus. Venus isn't about external luxuries. Venus is not about the anna. It's the anat parisruto rasam brahmana. It's the actual rasa that flows from the luxurious thing. That is Venus. Worshipping of Venus sounds so good. You see, so don't get it mixed up that, oh, Venus is superficial, Venus is material, Venus is luxury. No, Venus is the love and the joy which creates luxury. It creates comfort. Why did somebody invent a fluffy pillow? Because they want somebody to feel good. So think about India, ancient India. There's tons of love. And there's tons of art. Art is such a Venusian thing because it's the creation of beauty. So where you find countries that have a highly developed arts and a lot of love, well-expressed love, then you'll find a very Venusian. All right, yes. And yes, Priyanka wants to say, does nature also represent Venus? Yeah, Venus is femininity. Femininity is love, beauty, and receptivity. Beauty is created beauty, natural beauty, those two types. The natural beauty is also things like rainbows, flowers, things like that. And created beauty is things like music, dance, cosmetics, fashion. Okay. Wish me luck here in my socializing mode. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget that there will be an extra live session. It will be on Sunday at noon in the Chicago time zone. I'll do another live of my presentation. Shall I? Gotta say goodbye sometime, so I'll say goodbye now.